What is up, guys? Today we are going to talk about my Salt Lake City Regionals tournament experience and what went down in my rounds, how I finished the tournament, and I picked up some points. So if you guys haven't checked it out already, my Twitter is really where I will be updating you guys throughout the tournament. So if you are so kind to follow me there, that'd be awesome. I do update between tournament rounds as much as I can. Sometimes I'll miss around because I went to time or I need to like run to the bathroom or something, or I just need some time to reset in between rounds. But I usually update round by round while I'm there. And I did finish 5-3-1 and picked up 30 CP. Now you might be thinking, "Oh man, Rahul, you were really close. You almost made day two." It's actually quite the contrary. I had a pretty poor tournament start, starting 2-3, and climbing my way back up to 5-3, and fought pretty hard to get to where I was, and picked up 30 points. But I was never in day two contention starting in like round five. I was knocked out pretty early in the tournament. Every round was just a fighting for my life kind of tournament as I went through. So I decided to play Giratina. I didn't have any time to test, and I knew that Palkia and Giratina were the only two decks that I was going to consider playing. I wanted to play Mew as well, but I didn't put enough reps into it. I had a couple of techs I wanted to try out, but I didn't have time because of my flight getting delayed. I ended up getting into Salt Lake at like 1 in the morning almost to the hotel, so I didn't really have a chance to test or do anything when I was supposed to get there at like 10 or 9:30, 10, which I mean, that those 3 hours are actually a pretty big difference in a tournament. And so I was exhausted from traveling, the delays and everything. And I actually hadn't played any Tina or any Lost Zone Engine. And so I kind of just said, let's do it. Let's have a good time. Let's be funny with it. And so I locked in Tina. I trusted John and his 60. The idea was captures would give us a better pivot into the comfies if we had a bad starter, or just being able to go comfy into comfy. Switch cards was the switch from normal switch. Switch cards was the switch from switch. Because we wanted to have a way to just heal the 30 and like Lost Box Mirror as well as Regigigas if that matchup came about. And we played the Manaphy as well for the Regigigas, and Palkia and Mirror for the Radiant Greninja, because in the Mirror, if you don't play the Manaphy, eventually the Greninja will just overflood you and overrun the board, which is just a couple things we found out from just testing. So Vacuum is also in here to deal with Big Parasol at least one time, so we can use the Star Requiem and just take control of the board. And Temple of Sinnoh is an excellent card to deal with Wash Energy. We felt like Huron was a difficult matchup without that card specifically. So overall, I really liked the list. If I could change it, I would obviously cut the Drapion and the Snorlax because they didn't really do too much for me throughout the day. And I would go ahead and put in the third line of Tina just because I just didn't have a chance to use them because I didn't hit the matchups that they were designed for. But that being said, if you are worried about Mew and Lost Box, those two cards are very, very good. I just simply did not see an opportunity to hit those matchups. So this was the list I played, the 60 I played, and we're going to go ahead and talk about my tournament run. So the first round I hit Aaron Wang, who is the son of Stephen Wang, and they're part of TC Evolutions, who are one of my sponsors, and they make these awesome dice. So I hit Aaron, and it's his first tournament as a master, I think, and he was playing Lost Box. The first game, Aaron, I think, made a pretty crucial mistake by lost owning his Manaphy, which pretty much gave me free reign to, and I think one was in the discard already, so it gave me a free turn to Greninja, and then the next turn he wasn't able to rod it either, and gave me a second turn to Greninja, and that game just ended on the spot, like, effectively. The second game, I was in a very favorable position. We were at 3-3 prizes, or he was at 4, I was at 3, and I was going to be able to run the prize trade. The Goon was already gone from Aaron, and I was in a position to just kind of take control of the game, use my own Sableye plus Goon combo the next turn to go down to 1 prize, and basically set up a checkmate scenario with a Snorlax with Mirage Gate onto it. But I ended up making probably one of the biggest mistakes I've made in a long time in Pokemon by attaching a Capture Energy to my active Comfey to retreat it into the Cramorant to take the prize, to go to 3. And at that point, I picked up my deck, my like 8 card deck, which didn't even matter. But I had already looked at the bottom card and I called the judge on myself. Was given a DPL because no matter what happens there, I did gain information that I'm not supposed to have, and a shuffle that happens when it's not supposed to shuffle is a penalty. So I messed up. That's on me. Definitely totally forgot about how Sinnoh works in that instance. That's the fatigue setting in, and yeah, just a super, super bad oopsie whoopsie that cost me that game. And the next game, I started breaking a little bit, and Aaron was firing on all cylinders. I think I opened Drapion, and Aaron opened pretty much a perfect Lost Box start, getting like 4 into the Lost Zone by turn 1, hitting me with the Cram. Turn 2, he had the 10 going into the Sableye almost immediately, and the game had pretty much ended at that point. I think by turn 3, he Marnie Pathed to me when I was able to come back into the game a little bit, and I just couldn't get anywhere from there. So a pretty rough round 1 loss to Lost Box, a matchup that I was not really prepped or practiced against, but yeah. Round 2, I went up against Sam Chen, who is someone that I'm very close with. We've tested together a myriad of times, and he is one of my closer friends. Sam and I play the same 60 cards. And so the mirror came down to pretty much who won the flip and did they have a Tina prize. So game one, I won the flip, and Sam had one Tina prized. And when we're not playing a 3-3 line of Tina, you can pretty much set up two Tinas and wait for them to do something before you target it down. So I was able to do that to Sam. And then in game two, he was able to basically do the same to me. Like I opened Drapion again and just like was pretty messy. Or Fish or something. I opened a really bad starter. I don't remember which one it was, but it was just really sloppy. And I couldn't come back into the game after Sam took control. And then the third game was a poor start on Sam's part, and I had like really good turn one into a really solid turn two. And I got like a double Tina down turn one, so it already forced an issue from Sam if he couldn't do so. And my hand was like good enough to go into like the turn two Mirage Gate with Chorus and just start putting damage onto the board and prepping just for a big turn. So took that down. And then round three went up against Rose, who was playing. They were playing a Palkia Barrel deck. And game one, I ended up actually messing up pretty badly, and I did not play around a Radiant Gardevoir. I was playing the whole game assuming that they played a Radiant Greninja in Palkia Barrel, and then Radiant Gardevoir hit the board, and I did not have the damage to close out the game. Actually, I just didn't mentally think of it. I don't know why. Like it's not something you expect. So it caught me off guard. I didn't have the net goon combos like that kind of stuff to close out the game, so I lost. It is what it is. And then game two, I actually almost lost again to Rose because I did not prep for the Wash Energy because I did not see the Wash Energy in game one. And then the Wash Energy came down on a really crucial turn, and I did not have the Sinnoh. I did not have the Sinnoh available to me, and the Guardy was already in play. So the only play I had was to 280 with a Goon net ping, and I was able to pull that off as well as Roxanne in the same turn, which actually won me the game. But it was really close, too close for comfort, because I pitched my Sinnoh pretty early in the game, not thinking that it would matter. And then game three, I was able to hold all of my resources, and Rose also bricked by opening the Luminion, which gave me just pretty much the easiest game of my life. So absolutely crazy list. I didn't prep for any of that, and I like almost got taken off guard. Round four, I played against Juan, who was playing Tina Mir. Game one went in Juan's favor because they were able to establish double Tina before I could get the board rolling, and I could never really find my foothold back into the game after that. Like I think one of my Tinas got blown up, and then I tried to play like the Sableye or like the Cram into like the Snorlax strategy, but it never kind of panned out the way I wanted it to, and I lost. And then game two, I ended up losing as well. Actually, I got 2-0'd because in this one I did get to go first, but I did prize a Tina, so Juan was able to take his time and power up two Tinas. And by the time I got the boss to pop one Tina, my Tina goes down from Star Requiem, and then the game is just over because there's so many energies on the board from Juan's side that even if I bench double Tina that next turn, at this point, they're either down to 2 or 3 prizes, and they can just boss kill one of my Tinas, and then even if I kill a Tina, I still have like 1 prize left to take, and then a Sableye comes in and ends the game. So it's just really, really unfortunate that that's how the mirror goes, and I didn't know the mirror plays like that, so had I known that, I would have played this deck. So round 5, the marbles are on the line. If I lose one more, I'm eliminated from the tournament. I go up against Ryan Foley, an amazing opponent. It was a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. They were playing Arctina, and game 1, I ended up opening Drapion, passing, and I got donked turn 2 by the RCS Energy. No, I think it was Tina. I opened Tina, attach passed, or like Abyss Secret, I think was exactly what I did. I attach Abyss Secret, and then I got donked. So it is what it is with the Goon Choice Belt on the RCS with the Starbirth. And then game 2, I took Ryan down to the end of the game, and there was a turn where I think Ryan messed up, where I used Escape Rope, and they gave me... I had a really poor start once again here in this game, and nothing was going my way. I used Escape Rope, and Ryan ended up giving me the Bidoof, and I promoted a Cramorant and Roxanne in the same turn. So I was able to Roxanne under Ryan's own path and knock out the Bidoof. And I think Ryan had like 2 prizes left, I think. And they were not able to do anything after that because I just kind of won because they didn't have any way to draw any more cards. But then they showed me that they had an Ultra Ball in hand. They could have gotten the Bibarel. So they told me they messed up like straight up. So game 3, I opened Drapion, attached past, or like I think I attached a Capture, grabbed like a Tina or something from the deck, or a Comfy or something from the deck. But the game was like pretty lost because Ryan took 4 prizes before I could do anything. Their board was like 3 energies on an RCS, 3 energies on a Tina, 3 energies on another Tina, and like 2 energies, like a DT on like an RCS. And I was like staring at the barrel of a gun. I was like, okay, my only play is to like boss up the Bibarel and Sableye and put like 12 damage counters on the board. But if I do that, they still have the barrel draw, and they have like I kind of think Switch was gone and 2 DTEs were like 3 DTEs were gone. I was like, maybe there's no 4th DTE, maybe there's no rope, maybe like none of this stuff. And then I didn't even hit the boss, so all the hypotheticals did not matter. So I lost to Ryan, putting me at 2-3. So my tournament run is over. Round 6, I went up against Maria, who was playing a Magnezone V-Star deck with Flaffy. Didn't really get the full, I think, both games Maria struggled to set up, and I didn't really see the full extent of what the deck was meant to do, but I was able to simply get my Manaphy into play to prevent the damage from the attacks from Magnezone and just start kind of steamrolling in pretty efficient fashion with the Tina, because the Tina one-shot stuff, and then, yeah, pretty quick 2-0 for me. Round 7, I went against Austin, who is an old school player making his return. I know I've heard the name, and I have nothing but respect for Austin. And it was Tina Mir, and both games Austin like super gigabricked. Like I think it was both games where it was like open a Cram or open a Greedinja or something, and no way to get into a Comfy. And basically those games you just don't win. You never win as Tina Mir because one player gets to double Tina down, like I mentioned, and then you're able to get the first boss on the other Tina, and then the game is over. So if you can't get two Tinas down at the same time, the matchup kind of just folds, and that's basically what this Tina Mir was in both games 1 and 2 from Austin. So a little bit unfortunate for Austin, but good for me, and we're moving to 4-3. So this is the last round that I have to win to potentially earn points. I think 15 pointers did earn points as well. I'll go check in a second after this. But I went up against Juancho, who's Primetime Wizard, or Primetime Wizard TV. If you guys didn't know, Juancho is super awesome. It was a pleasure to play against. His E-turn control, like E-turn Weezing control. The first game, I think Juancho made a pretty big mistake and did not play around Sableye. And I was able to boss something and start Sableyeing his board. Like I bossed something up and Sableye to take 2 prizes in the same turn. And then Juancho drew and passed. He had a Galar Mine in the active as well. So I didn't bump his Galar Mine because I didn't know how many hiding energies he played. And I think I already saw 2 at least. And then I went ahead and did the same thing. I Sableyed again. And then Juancho drew and passed. And then I Sableyed again. And then Juancho drew and scooped. So I pretty much got pretty lucky to win game 1, I think, from Weezing E-turn control. Game 2 was not so fortunate. I got absolutely swept. Like the turn 2 Weezing, turn 1 Weezing, whatever. Like, you know, like I just couldn't Comfy. I just couldn't set up the board. Like I'm hoping I have a supporter in my hand. I think I quick balled for the Luminion preemptively to grab a Chorus into my opening hand to prevent getting locked out of the game. But what ended up happening is that he just marnied me, and I looked pretty silly with the Chorus going to the bottom of my deck. But I think that's the play I had to make, because if you don't do that, I don't even get to like see cards. And it sucked because even if I use Abyss Seeker, the Hisuian and Sneasler will add 2 more damage counters. So I pretty much go to 12 damage counters on my Tina going back into Juancho's turn. And I put so much effort into one-shotting one prizer, which is pretty bad. So game 3 comes down to something very similar. And I'm sitting there like thinking, I don't know how many goons Juancho plays. I've already seen 1 in the discard. Maybe I'm not wasting my time. I ended up lost vacuuming his choice belt on the Eternatus, and I have a Tina. Juancho has 4 prizes remaining. I have 3 prizes remaining, I think. And I'm just digging for a boss. So I pretty much have to pass with a Comfy active, I think, because I didn't find a pivot card or a switch or something off of a Roxanne after I did the vacuum turn and everything on Juancho. And then Juancho ends up bossing with his Tina, or his E-turn. He doesn't have the goon or anything, the modifier. He brings up like my Drapion and one-shots it. And then I have to find... No, I have 5 prizes remaining at this point. So then I have to bring up Tina, and I have to stall Requiem and hope I don't lose. No, I've already started. I have two prizes remaining. So I had the boss, and I had the boss in hand, which, I mean, I Roxanne myself with a like super low card deck, and I knew I had boss in deck, and then I had the Comfy as well to dig a little bit deeper. So I got the boss, and I ended the game there. But Juancho told me after the game that there was no way for him to add any more damage to kill my Tina, because he only played 1 goon, and there was only a choice belt left maybe in the deck. But I was really worried about another goon, and so I was playing very differently, assuming there was more than 1 goon, because I don't really know what's in E-turn, like controller, Weezing control, whatever. So good games to Juancho. Was a lot of fun. Congrats, my friend. And then round 9, I played against a good friend, Jeremy Gell, and you might know him as from the official Pokemon TPC I cast. Jeremy has been on the desk multiple times, but he was playing this one because he was not chosen to cast, or I think he elected not to. I don't know. And Jeremy and I had a good talk. We were just talking about life, catching up a little bit, and we took the tie because 16 points puts us both into 30 points, which is top 256, and that is something to take home with us and puts me in a little decent spot for the stipend coming up here for Australia. So overall, not too happy with how I played. Actually, the first couple rounds, I think between the first like 4 rounds. I think I played pretty badly. Made a lot of mistakes that were really uncharacteristic because I didn't test too much, and I made obviously the double prize mistake was costly, was almost probably tournament costly because there's a difference between starting 0-1 and 1-0, and my entire tournament changes from that point onwards. So really, really upset, I guess, with how I performed, but 5-3-1 is still nothing to scoff at, and it is a record to take home. My next tournament will be Brazil. Thank you so much for all the support, and thank you to everyone who did come up this weekend and say hi. I know I was pretty exhausted on day one, so I'm really sorry if I was like out of it. By like round 5, I was running on fumes because of how late I got in and how late I stayed up. But thank you so much to everyone. I know I wasn't the best, but thank you for like coming up and talking to me. It was really cool to see that I still have a lot of fans and a lot of people that watch me and the YouTube channel, and you guys are amazing, and I am eternally grateful to all of you who support me. And that being said, my next tournament will be Brazil, so you guys will have a month of whatever until I leave for Brazil, and hopefully I can do some damage at an IC. Hopefully I can put some points on the board, put myself in a good position to contest top 16, because right now I'm definitely outside of the range of it, but I want to be able to put myself in a spot to do that. So thank you guys all for watching, as always. If you enjoy the content, like and subscribe. This was my second regional of the season. I did miss Peoria, so I will be attending. I've already booked Toronto, Arlington, as well as San Diego, so those 3 are already in the books for me. And from after that, I don't really know which ones. I will be at Orlando for sure. That is a college town for me. I went to college there, so it'll be nice to see some friends and some family nearby. So besides that, I don't know where else I'll be yet, but I will probably be at mostly everything, if not everything. So see you guys there. Let me know where you're going, and yeah, peace.